Hello, my dear one, and welcome to another MindStiller. I just feel like sharing from my heart to yours. I have no particular thing to share with you except the love I feel and the comfort I want to offer. This morning, a friend was sharing with me about someone in her family who had taken their own life, a young person. And this is becoming all too common. And I felt very much when hearing about Natalie's passing, she was only 24 years old, that even if I can touch one other person in my life with the joy and the comfort and the hope that I have managed to squeeze out of all the despair and fear and insecurity that I've had to deal with in my life, then that is a life that has been well lived, I feel. Not that I'm going to leave my life anytime soon, I hope, but we want to share when we have achieved some peace, some formula, some way of feeling that this life is not just a wretched kind of experience that so many young people are unfortunately succumbing to. So the story of the young lady who took her life is her own story. And I don't know the details. All I know is that anyone who chooses to take their own life, there are other options. So if you're looking at this and if you're thinking, even contemplating a little bit about the possibility of taking your own life, please just listen to me for a few minutes. Don't take your life right now. If you choose to, after you listen to me, everybody has to do what they have to do in life, but there are hotline numbers. I don't know what the number is right now, or else I would share it with you. It's a national hotline for people who have suicidal thoughts. I don't want to say it's something like 611, but please just reach out and go to your computer and type in national hotline for suicide thinking, because it's a thought. It's just a thought. Our minds, our thinking organs. Yes, you can hold it in your hand, this thing called a brain, but it has thoughts in there that can't be sliced and diced and put under a microscope. And these thoughts are just illusory. They come, they go, like the wind, like the sea. Sometimes we have huge tornadoes and big hurricanes, and other times the sea is as tranquil as a lake. And that's the way our mind is. And someone who is contemplating taking their own life, you have to realize that this is a thought pattern. And it can be even a habitual thought pattern if it's not broken. So please realize, first of all, that it's just a thought that's going through your mind. Just like the thought of, oh, it's a beautiful day today. Well, whether it's raining or whether the sun is out doesn't matter really to some people, because they could be thinking that it's a beautiful day because they feel good. Or it could be a miserable day out, raining and snowing and icing and windy and just all sorts of, or humidity, high humidity and high heat. But if a person feels happy, if they have reached some kind of understanding that we are what we think about, then that kind of a day could be really good for somebody. It could be a beautiful day. It really depends on how we think. And so mind stillers, I offer these little mind stillers because I myself have to discipline my mind. And most people who are in the awareness tribe or like, just bettering the planet tribe or loving earth tribe, and instead of, whatever tribe that doesn't think about these things, we do realize, whether all the time or just some of the time, if we forget, that what we think about is what we not only become, but we are right now, right here, right this moment. And so if we realize that the brain, this organ that is headquarters for everything we do and with our body, I mean, the brain is even the receptor of pain. They say that we don't really have pain anywhere. It's just the way our brain interprets and signals. That's pretty amazing when you think about it. So you could jab yourself in the arm with a knife, but that's pain. It's not really coming from there, that it's from the reception of all the different interconnections of our brain. And that's how we receive the signal of pain. So psychic pain, obviously, if somebody is going to think about taking their own life, they have psychic pain. They have emotional discomfort. They have some bad feeling, negative. That is a thought. That is a thinking. And it might be a pattern if it happens all the time. But like all thoughts, they come and they go, and they can be altered, and they can be trained, and they can absolutely transform from super negative, destructive thinking to wonderfully positive, open to everything, unlimited thinking. How do I know this? Because I am a person who had that kind of destructive and harmful and negative, going nowhere type of thinking at one point in my life. As many of you know, I am a writer and an artist, and at one point in my life, all I could do was create paintings about the pain I was feeling. It was awful. They were awful paintings. And when the day came when I realized that I could choose me, not my circumstances, not the people I'm hanging out with, not the government, not anybody who is, outside of my own skin, but only me could choose how I felt about life and making art. When I realized that, I decided to get rid of all that awful negative thinking art. There was nothing great about it. Some pieces I cut up and kept like fragments because maybe there was an interesting juxtaposition of images or texture of paint or manipulation of concept or something that I wanted to recycle. But basically, a negative painting, a dystopic painting, or like some art I see these days, it's porn. It's just trash. It's why people even honor this shit and put it in galleries. I just don't know. I mean, people must be so hard up for beauty and inspiration and innovation and something that moves you in a way that makes you feel good, because some of the art that I've seen is not what I would call even decent. I mean, if I had it up on my wall in my house, I would be a depressed person and I would think about taking my own life. And that is a common story among artists and writers who have dwelled on those subjects, like negative, dystopic things, apocalyptic things. Why? Why dwell on those things? That's not necessarily what's happening. If one chooses to think that that's what's happening in life, well, that's their privilege. But I choose to see that life is about a balance of night and day, dark and light, man and woman. And yes, there are in-between things and shades of gray, so they say. And the same with feelings. We have everything from the joy, the ecstasy, the sublime, to depression and fear and anxiety. And then there's this place in between, which is really the sweet spot that I choose to stay in. And it has been called serenity, which is not hilariously happy, 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 or gee, I can't do anything about life, so why bother? Serenity is seeing the whole picture, accepting that it is real, that it is happening, but not judging and not putting a label of good or bad or terrible or wonderful, but just seeing the situation, witnessing life, witnessing people's behavior, witnessing presidential crazy elections, witnessing everything, weather, the threats of fear, the intrigue of education, the interaction of people, the wanting to be connected, the feeling of being connected. This is something that I strive for, the serenity. The Buddhists call it the middle way, not this, not that. And that's also in the scriptures of yoga, neti, neti, neither this nor that. It's seeing what is and accepting that this is the drama of life. And where is it going? Well, stay tuned. We don't know, do we? It's the next exciting chapter that we will find out. Well, hopefully it will not be another suicide. I hope that if you're listening, that you realize that you can absolutely train your mind, just like as if it was a bad dog, always nipping at somebody's heels, always like screaming and yelping and biting and doing mischievous things like bad dogs can do. And some of them are pretty deadly. But our mind can be trained if we accept the fact that it is our choice to first recognize that it's a pattern if we're into negative thinking, and that we can do something about it. So I don't want to just leave you with another video, somebody's opinion. I'm going to recommend that you read In the Eye, which is a book I wrote about this experience of transforming negative thinking, fearful thinking, destructive thinking into something pretty close to serenity. And the title is In the Eye, like me, myself, and I, not the eye of our vision. And then also about the exercise that one can do with breath, tuning into breath as the essence of what we really are, the teacher within, the inner wisdom that we have, the nameless kind of wordless comfort that is there for us. We don't have to go on a trip to some place or to some person to get comfort. We can go inside and tap our breath, because our breath is everything. Our breath is the sign of being conscious that we are alive. Without breath, we are not alive. And breath, when we become aware of breath, the breathing in and the breathing out, and the imbibing of air consciously, and the watching of it being released, is the beginning of opening to higher possibilities. Breath is the bridge to a higher, better, more comfortable way of being. It doesn't have to be a big deal. It doesn't have to be like sitting in a cave with your eyes closed in deep meditation. No. Being in tune with your inner wisdom just means being in tune with your breath. Being aware that it's a gift, that life is a gift. And yes, one day it will end. But why end it prematurely when there's so many mysteries and curiosities and wonderful things to experience along with all the other things? That's just part of life. The struggles, the challenges, the pains, the blocks, they're real. And grief. The grief that Natalie's parents and friends and family must go through right now in order to process their own humanity. Those feelings of, did I do enough? I feel so guilty, I should have known. Those are going to be all felt very strongly by everybody who knew this woman, young woman, Natalie. And she's going to be very significant in my life because she came at a time when I was contemplating what to do about my gifts of offering the world how I think about things. I sometimes have a lot of self-doubt. Why me? What have I got to offer that's different from somebody else? And I had asked the universe to help me out, to send me a sign. And Natalie, you are it. Natalie, your life's purpose maybe was to influence me and to anybody else who's listening about Natalie. Your life purpose has been achieved, so your soul can be free. And I hope that the parents and the family and friends will see the beauty in life continue, even though the light is very much overshadowed by grief and sadness. But this is something that all humans, we all must go through. You can't numb it. You can't deny it. A lot of people try to postpone it by getting stoned or drunk or just denying their feelings. But it's not healthy. It's best to just go through the grief, the sorrow, as well as embracing the joy and possibilities that come in equal measures throughout this beautiful life that we are sharing. So this is August, I think 6, 2024. They say that this is a portal, that this is the Lion's Gate. Okay, some predictions have been made, and whether that's true or not, every day, every moment is a portal. Every second is filled with possibilities of us choosing to embrace the highest that we can, the best, the happiest. Go for it. Just embrace the most that you can in this moment. That's what I'd like to share with you today. Om Namah Shivaya. And thank you for listening.